All right, everybody, here you have your notes today for social studies for Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, also known as the famous Lewis and Clark. Okay, so make sure you have your notes open. The other day we did Daniel Boone through the Cumberland Gap, so hopefully you enjoyed that song on the Wilderness Road, one of the first national roads. Okay, so now we're doing Lewis and Clark. So make sure you choose, what color you want to use, what font you want to use for your typing here, for your notes. So they received help from Native Americans. And during that time, the most famous one that helped them, her name was Sacagawea. Now, some people pronounce her name Sacagawea because remember, different group of people, different language. So either way, Sacagawea, either way you want to say it, that would honor her and what she did for them during this time. And coming up, we're going to see a cool video about her too. So William Clark and Meriwether Lewis and Clark, they explored the land that was included in the famous Louisiana Purchase. We bought this land from France, if you didn't know that. So if y'all have heard of Napoleon Bonaparte, he is the one that we purchased this land from, and it was $15 million. So back then, I know that's a lot of money now, but even back then that was a lot of money. Okay, so it was actually President Thomas Jefferson who sealed the deal for America to do that. He was the same Thomas Jefferson that wrote the famous Declaration of Independence during the American Revolution. So then later he became president of the United States. And then it said, he wanted Lewis and Clark to explore this brand new purchase of land out west past the Mississippi River. Okay. So he wanted Lewis and Clark, because remember, that's the last name of the other explorer, the other pioneer, to find a continuous water blank. Now, if you remember way back at the beginning of the year, we talked about the age of exploration and all the explorers coming over from Europe. So they were trying to find a water route, or you could say the word route. Either way is fine. They were trying to find a route from Asia west, right? Going across. So here, similar thing, but here they're going by land as well. Okay, they remember the Northwest Passage we talked about. So here, Jefferson said, well, let's just try to find a water route from blank to blank. Okay, so we live at the ocean on the East Coast, and if you know that ocean, it is the Atlantic Ocean. That's where we live. So he was trying to help them figure out a way to go from the Atlantic Ocean on the East Coast to the Pacific Ocean on the West Coast. Okay? And then it says, you know what? They didn't find that route. They actually had to travel over land. They did find some rivers. You're going to be doing a map on that. They did find some rivers, and they finally made it to the Pacific Ocean, but they never could actually find a route that was totally by water from east to west. Okay? But their journey did bring back lots of information. Okay? So their journey brought back information about and remember, it wasn't just new animals and new plants, they also met other Native Americans. So we could put about the people who lived in these regions, because they traveled through many different Native American territories. So let's put regions, these new lands. And they also, brought back scientific information about the plants and animals that they found. And we've been doing a lot of that in science, so that actually is really cool to see how much they learn. So let's say plants and animals that they found. Okay. And so at the very bottom, you see a famous painting of Meriwether Lewis, William Clark, Sacagawea, and we're going to learn about her baby because her baby Pomp was also with them. And then here you see the map of them going from east to west. Here you see the famous Mississippi River. This we're going to learn is the famous Northwest Territory. Here you have the Appalachian Mountains of the 13 colonies that are now America, and they were all just people wanting to travel west. So this purchase right here cost $15 million, and then they were able to go all the way from the Mississippi River. They traveled up this way, all the way to the Pacific Ocean, and were able to find that route to go from east to west. All right, guys, so one more time, here you have your notes about Lewis and Clark. So if you need to pause right now and get caught up to make sure you have all those. And then right here is the check that you're going to be signing in your best cursive for $15 million from the American government, from the desk of President Thomas Jefferson to the French government for the Louisiana Purchase. So do make sure you do your best cursive when you sign your signature on that. And y'all enjoy learning more about pioneers.